Welcome to this week's broadcast. I want to bring you a word from Genesis 26 in this year 2026. For the entire period of 2025, I decided to spend much time in the book of Genesis for that entire year because I recognize if we don't understand the beginning of a thing, then we will not be able to understand the middle nor what will come in Revelation, which is a book also that we will be doing some live teachings from. I was in Genesis seeing the law of first mention, where many things were being brought to my attention and to the world and to those who will read for the first time because it happened in the book of Genesis. And so Genesis tells us that there was a famine in the land. Beside the first famine, that means another famine in the days of Abraham. And Isaac went unto Abimelech, king of the Philistines, unto Gerar. And the Lord appeared unto him and said, Go down into Egypt, dwell in the land, which I will tell thee of. Sojourn in this land, and I will be with you, and I will bless you. For unto thee and unto thy seed I will give all these countries, and I will perform the oath which I swear unto Abraham thy father. And I will make thy seed to multiply as the stars of heaven, and will give unto thy seed all these countries, and in thy seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed. God is a God who keeps covenant. And if he said your great grandchildren will receive the blessing, so shall the blessings be. Are you prepared should a famine hit the country that you call home? What would you do? Where would you go? These are some things that we often don't pay attention to because we have everything that we want to our comfort and we never think it can run out. I have seen kingdom rise and fall through Bible reading. We are not immune. It can happen to us as well. Because Abraham obeyed the voice of God and kept God's charge and God's commandments and God's statutes and God's laws, God made the promise, but it had conditions. And so we often want to claim this and claim that, especially because we're in a new year. We stand and we declare all the blessing come to me now. But all those things come also with sowing and reaping. In my new book that will be released in a few days, the power of receiving is actually giving. There I share some 34 tangible testimonies to help especially this age of professionals who believe that earning $1 million, giving 100,000 is too much for the Lord or for the work of the Lord. I want to tell you that let God trust you with the million and he will multiply you into billions. But you have to first trust him. Let him be able to trust you with the current seed he has given you to work. And so he gives seed to the sower and bread to the eater. And that's what happened. He gave Isaac the seed, and Isaac sowed those seeds even in the time of famine. Never allow the climate to determine that you will not sow. Isaac did not allow the famine to stop him from sowing, because in our general farming, we'll say the place is too dry, there is no water. How will the seed germinate? But God was with him. And so this season, be very mindful where you put your seeds, your financial seeds. Where will you sow? What will you sow into? Will you use emotion, or will you be led of the Spirit? As Isaac went into Gerar, the men of the place asked him of his wife. And he said, "She is my sister," because he feared to say, "She is my wife," lest, said he, the men of the place should kill him and take his wife, because she was fair to look upon. And yes, we are going to say he lied. He lied to protect his life and his wife. And many people will ask, what would you have done if you were in Isaac's situation? And I leave that question to you on the table. What would you have done? Lying is abomination unto the Lord. I hear that. Thou shalt not lie. I hear that as well. Isaac came to the land. He was there a very long time. And Abimelech, king of the Philistines, looked out at a window and saw, and behold, Isaac was courting Rebekah, his wife. I remember when I launched Marriage Ministry International in 2004, this would have been one of the scriptures that I would have gotten the revelation on, as it relates to chemistry and allowing persons to recognize in public right off the bat that those persons are married, without going into a room and one sit in the left, one sit at the back. Even at church, many times we notice couples come in different vehicles and they sit different places, and it's just such division in the public eye. Yes, they might have different roles in church, so some have to be at the front, some have to be at the back. That is understandable. However, on the contrary, it doesn't look good when husbands and wives are not in unity going into the same temple. So there are some instructions here in Genesis 26, in the year 2026. The Bible declares that marriage is honorable. The Bible declares that, oh, how good and pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. So at the head of the year, God is setting houses in order. He visited one king and he told the king, "Set your house in order." The king repented, and 15 more years was added to his life. So we want a blessing, but there are often doors that are open to the enemy in our homes. God told Joshua to search the camp because there was sin in the camp that was affecting the camp from moving forward. When he checked the camp, a man by the name of Achan had stolen the Babylonian garments and had brought reproach upon the people of Israel. The camp could not move forward. And so as a family, you need to ask yourself, am I holding back my family? Am I the one hindering them from moving forward? Am I the one opening a door to the enemy? You must ask yourself these questions in 2026. God will tell you where to go. God will direct you. He promised in 2026, He will lead you. He will guide you with His eye. Submit to Him. Submit to His leading. Do not run to the east or the west, but allow Him to lead you in this season, because obedience will keep the presence of God, and your seed will inherit the blessings. So part of your obedience now is to make provision for your descendants, for the generation not yet born. And so it is with disobedient men and women. As they disobeyed God, they bring a curse upon their seed. You don't want that for your family in this season. The promise of multiplication and land acquisition was what Isaac received. So we just read it and run over it. I will give you these countries, and thy seed shall all the nations of the world and the earth be blessed. That mean a takeover. That mean territory. That mean occupancy. Jesus said, occupy until I come. And so as a church, we often don't see investment. We often don't pay attention to advancing what God has given unto us. So we have the land and this little house on the land. What if we were to make a different approach and to do something more with the land, to plant, to start some form of greater agriculture business? That's occupying. And so in 2026, as I bring to you this broadcast today, I am saying to you, occupy as God's people. Verse 12 of Genesis 26 says, then Isaac sowed in that land and received in the same year 100-fold, and the Lord blessed him. So he received 100-fold. So whatever he planted, the land gave him 100 times what he had sowed. That is such great returns on your investment. And that's what farming can do for you. That which God did for Isaac can still happen now. We must return to farming. We must return to the ground, to the soil. Because in a little while, when there is no electricity or there is no internet based on electricity grids shutting down and different cyber attacks and different political and geo wars, you will need to go back to basics. You will need to learn how to survive. I watched in some countries when the hurricane hit them this season, there were people who had never seen kerosene oil for the first time. They had to get lamps and use it. They had to go right back to the times as if they were living in the time of the nomads. They had to learn how to survive out there. No roof, no bed, none of these things. And they survived. God is intentional. Sometimes it's a rehearsal for what is to come. And we need to pay attention. I encourage us as pastors to pay attention to what God is saying in this season. You might come up with fancy topics and themes for the year, but it must bring the people to a place of preparation. It must not just be satisfying their fancy for the moment, but it must be a time of preparation for what is ahead. Isaac received his 100-fold. And he waxed great, the Bible tells us, and went forward and grew until he became very great. The idea that you currently have in your mind, put it on paper. Get advice, get mentorship, how to birth that business. I have already declared on billboards. As you go on social media, you will see it. 2026, the year to birth businesses and to build storehouses, because there was a rich man who was focusing only on getting selfish and getting richer and building storehouses for himself. But that's not the storehouse we're talking about. It's the one like Joseph that will prepare and protect generations and communities when things get hard. It's like planning ahead of what is to come. Isaac kept God's commandment, and so he was able to experience God's blessing. When we get back in our next broadcast, we will talk about Isaac and the wells he digged and the significance as we move forward in 2026. Remember, 2026, the year to sow and to reap your hundredfold, because as the new book says, there is power in receiving, and that is to give. Coming soon to Amazon. God bless you. Look out for that book. And I know you will be blessed by those testimonies, because we are a living Bible here in the earth of what God will do to those who sow and give to the work from a true heart. He will bless you, and your children will reap the reward. Happy New Year from Kingdom Missions International family. God bless you.